Hello everyone, this is Diane. As you can see, I have here on my table two journals with horses on the front. These are two horse-themed journals that I have finished, and I am going to be putting this one in the shop. This one is for a friend of mine who requested it, and I will show that after I show this one. I also want to mention before I forget that with this journal will come some leftover pieces that I have, some pieces of trim, including that really great piece with the embroidered horseshoes that I received from Susan, and some scraps that you can make embellishments with, and some of the playing cards, or the little, whatever these game cards are, from Susan also, and just some other, all kinds of fun stuff will be coming with this journal, because I don't plan on making more horse journals. I made these because of that request from my friend, so I thought I might as well make two. I found this really beautiful antique image just lying in with a pile of other stuff on a table at a flea market, and I picked up a few things, and I don't remember what I paid for it, but I know it wasn't much. But it was just such a pretty picture, and I loved it so much, and so I put that on the cover. It was cracked around the edges quite badly because it was very fragile. I just tore it and then just Mod Podged it down, so it's very secure and safe now. And I added this printable label here. There was a mark on the back that which happened during the creation process. We saw on a previous video where I was showing work I was doing in this journal, and there was like this brown squiggly mark from ink or something that wouldn't come off. So I created a little bit of a collage with some lace and trim and little patchwork pieces. I added this really pretty blue fabric and this gray gimp trim to finish off the spine. It has a hitch post and a hair tie, and it's not going to stay on very well. If you just touch it, it pops off because the book isn't filled in yet. As you add things that you glue in, it will thicken the book up, and then this will be tighter and it'll stay on. I put some paper on the inside and papers and added, this was part of the digital paper, and the digital paper is called Horse Lovers Journal, and I will leave a link below. I can never remember the name of the shop. It's Junk Journal something, so I will link this kit below. It's a very large kit. I printed the pages twice, so I used all the pages in one journal, and then I printed them again for the second journal. But I only printed the ephemera once because there was so much ephemera, so that got divided up between the two journals, but this was part of it. And this is one of the pages, and I added some crochet, some cotton trim to the edge of the page. This is also part of the kit. I just printed it on the back of all of the pages. Here there's just a little collage with a die cut and a stamp. I did some fabric flips, and I got to use, this is some of that Moda fabric that I purchased from one of my recent hauls when I went shopping with my friend. These are not vintage fabrics, they are brand new, and it was a layer cake, a stack of 20, I forgot how many, it's more, it's 10 by 10 fabrics, but I forgot how many were in the stack. But anyway, these were part of one of those stacks of fabric. And I got this blue eyelet at the same place. It was a Ben Franklin store in Pennsylvania. It has a really fantastic fabric section. Here we have just a stamped image and another postage stamp. This is from a book of posters that Susan sent me. So I took some of the pages that were landscape oriented and turned them into pages, and I just folded over the end and added some of this cotton ribbon, fabric ribbon. So you can open that up and write on it or glue things. This is just a brown a craft vellum, I guess, and not vellum, glassine paper that was coffee dyed. And these are both elements from the kit. So most of the images, if you see things like this and all that stuff, it's from the kit. I'm not going to keep mentioning it. I will talk about the other things that don't belong to the kit. And this is a really beautiful braid that I picked up at either I picked it up at a flea market or somebody sent it to me a while ago. And one of the really adorable cards that Susan sent me. I love the pink gingham on the back. And there's images of horses on the front. I don't know how to play the game. This one had this, looked like a leather patch up here, and I added a printable label that you can write something on. Coffee dyed guest book page. This is just scrapbook paper. I did some stenciling on the back of it and added a scrap of paper and an image from a children's book. Part of the ephemera from the kit. Get lots of envelopes and pockets and tags and cards and things you can fussy cut. It even included things like this, which are always fun. I just inked the backs of all of the cards. This one I stamped. I made a little upper tuck spot with this banner. It was part of the kit. And then this I created with scrapbook paper, and this is a die cut I made. These are both made with scraps of scrapbook paper. I just like the way it looks as a tuck spot there. These are just some scraps that I adhered together and glued down as a little tuck spot. This is the other side of that scrapbook paper. It has a guitar here, and I added this label from the kit, and this is a fussy cut from the kit. There's a little cluster that I made with those fabrics. This is just some lined digital paper that I had left over. So I added that to the other side of this poster page. And this is an old photograph that Susan sent me with the horse ephemera that she sent. I love it. I love the square shape. I love the size of it. I love the color. It's kind of like a cross between black and white and sepia. I just thought she sent me 2 of them, so I put one in each journal. Again, this is a pocket made from a scrap of scrapbook paper and a little bit of trim that I have. And the second signature. There's another die cut with a stamp, another fabric flip with a different eyelet trim that I purchased from the Ben Franklin store. Another stamping and postage stamp. Here's another lined digital that I glued to the back of the poster. This library pocket came with the kit. I added this, which also came with the kit, and that, and I added this die cut to it. And it comes with this library card. Piece of scrapbook paper here. And this is that embroidered trim. It has horseshoes on it, and there's all this fine stitching all over the place back there. It just looks like tooled leather, really. but it's not leather at all. And that came from Susan. Thank you so much, Susan. She sent me quite a large quantity of it. So I used it several different ways. This is one. And this is part of the kit. I added this from a children's book page. This got messed up. I did the edge punching here and it got messed up over here, so I added this little number piece to it. This is one of the poster pages that I cut. Just cut that horse out to make a pocket. And this is a scrap of scrapbook paper, and I added this embellishment. This is a fussy cut from the kit. I love this page. I made another little upper tuck spot, top tuck spot with this. This was a longer strip. I had to cut a piece off to fit it on there. And a die cut and the word Cantor. This came from a children's book about farm animals. This is a new colt, and I added a piece of vintage trim up there. And this was a scrap of cardstock printed on both sides with a kind of a western flair. This is a western paisley look. And I just collaged it with a scrap and a couple pieces of fussy cuts from the digital kit. Another fabric cluster here. And I cut this from a children's book and glued it to some cardstock and made it a little tuck spot. Again, I added some pieces from the kit to this poster. This is from the kit. Looks like an old photograph, but it is a digital. So the one signature has the actual photograph, and this one has a digital photograph. I can't remember what's on the third signature, but we'll find out. Again, from that children's book. And this playing card from Susan with a horse joker. And the third signature. There's a stamp down there. This triangular pocket, part of the kit, I embellished it with a postage stamp and a digital number thing. Scrapbook paper. Here I made a belly band with that trim. And this is part of the kit. It's a stamp, postage stamp, and I printed it on cardstock so it's sturdy. And here's another tag. And this just gets tucked in there. I had enough, this piece was long enough that I could make 2 tags for each journal. And another top tuck with a printed banner and a banner that I cut from a scrapbook paper, and a die cut and a digital number. It was fun making those. This is just a sturdy piece of cardstock, and just to make it look a little more interesting, I just added this extra piece in the corner there and some digital pieces. And I just stamped a shipping tag that I have with these stamps that I thought looked nice with the colors and style of the book. And there's an adorable little stamp up there with a colt. And here is a vintage Christmas card, but it has a horse on it. It says best wishes. I had to glue, there's layers here, and I had to glue some of the pieces back down. Wishing you a real old-fashioned Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And you can open that up and write on it, or glue some things in there. And this is a vintage library pocket. It was first stamped in '72, and I just covered up some of the markings on it with scraps and some embellished with some washi tape and digitals, and added a library card with my signature on the back. So as I found this with the recent Happy Mail, or not Happy Mail, with the recent flea market haul, and I had a bunch of photographs, and this was in it. This little boy dressed like a cowboy and riding a pony, and I want to put that in this journal. So let's find a spot for it. I'll just tuck him in there. There we go. And these fun items will come with it too. These came out of a reproduction Sears catalog from the I think it was 1880s. But the catalog was printed, it's a reproduction, so it was printed in 1972, I believe. So there's a page with saddles, 2 pages with saddles and bridles and lariats and things like that. So I'm going to include them in it also. They'll probably have to be folded to fit into the box. But there's quite a bit of ephemera to come with this journal. Now I'll just go through this journal that my friend is going to be purchasing to use as a gift. So I use this faux leather fabric with the, looks like it's woven. I really love that pattern. And this is one of the pages from the digital kit that I just cut in half and then Mod Podged it to the front. I added this really thin trim that I got a year or 2 ago at a flea market. And again, I added a label to this leather patch that was printed onto the digital. It has a hitch fastener again. And I used this really fun wagon wheel scrapbook paper on the end paper. And this is a digital book plate. And there's just some coffee dyed muslin on the inside. So I'll just flip through. It has the same elements, but the pictures and ephemera pieces are different. This was a scrapbook paper, and I added this piece and this horse. Children's book page there. I added this little scrap of a die-cut doily. This actually came out of a book of state fair posters and things. So I backed it with some of the digital and put it in there. This is a belly band. There are 3 belly bands in the kit. So this, I just embellished this one. It has that really pretty blue and rusty, and it looks like a mixed media background. Another top tuck there. This is one of the banners from the kit with a Harrison Fisher illustration. Your best friend doesn't have to be human, it says. This is from that children's book about farm animals. It says, people take their beautiful horses to the fair. Then more people can see them. We sometimes see beautiful horses at a circus. These are a couple of the fussy cuts from the kit. This is also part of the kit. I didn't, of course, cut out all the holes there. I just rubbed some vintage photo ink over it. This was in a bunch of stuff I got at a flea market. I believe that's where I got it. I thought it was from Susan, but she said no. And it's a little, like a comic book that came with some Wrangler jeans. So I thought that was fun. I just had to trim off a little bit on the end to make it fit. This is one of the belly band pieces here. I just glued this, or sewed this horse image from the poster on it and made a pocket out of it. There's a film strip with little images of horses there. See how long this horse's legs are. See how long its neck is. A horse with long legs and a long neck can run fast. And there's the other photograph. I stamped this number stamp on a piece of vintage masking tape and glued it down. I added these two pieces to this blue card that went with this envelope. Each of the envelopes, I cannot remember how many there are, but there are 4 or 5 at least, and each one comes with a card that fits in it. This was from a magazine page that Susan sent me. I didn't use a lot of the magazine pages, so I'm sending them. She just sent me a few pieces out of a Arizona magazine, and I will send them with the journal that I'm selling. I like the way this tuck spot turned out. I just like the colors together. So this is the printable, this is scrapbook paper, and this is scrapbook paper with a die cut and 2 printable pieces. And I like the way this horse's head kind of pokes out there. Now this page I stuck in there and the glue was still wet, and I really had a hard time getting it out. And it tore this corner right off, except that it was still attached by the threads. So I just put some washi tape over it. Another children's book illustration. This photo is from the digital kit. And another library pocket, a vintage one that I covered up and added a library card. I hope you enjoyed the 2 horse journals. They were fun to make. It was a fun and different theme for me, and I think they turned out nicely. So I hope that you agree. And this one will be in my shop when this video goes up. So I'll leave the link to the video below, and I will also leave the link for the Horse Lovers Journal Kit. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.